What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another episode of NBA Weekly. I'm your host, Pee Wee the Plug, the number one Knicks fan in the world. And today's video, I'm grading y'all trades. A couple days ago, I put on Twitter to send me all y'all trades that y'all want to see happen before the deadline. We got a lot of replies. We got some good trades. We got some mediocre trades. And of course, we got some wild-ass trades. Mostly people being biased to their team, trying to create scenarios where their team gets a big splash and they don't give up shit. You know, those trades where it's like, oh, the Raptors get Jeremy Grant for 2 second-round picks type shit. Like, those are always crazy and make me laugh. But for those of you who don't already, follow me on Twitter. If you want to be included in these videos in the future, whether it's NBA-related questions and interaction stuff, whether it's just a Q&A, video ideas, anything, the perfect way to get included in these videos is to follow me on Twitter at PBThePlug. I always put a tweet up a day or two before about a video or something where you guys can submit questions or info, feedback, or whatever. So follow me there. But let's get into these trades. The first trade comes from my boy Reese. Mind of Reese. He has his Dallas Mavericks acquiring Mo Bamba for a 2022 first round pick that's top 10 protected. For me, I think this trade is a solid trade. I like it for the Mavericks because it gives them an extra front court player who has been solid this year. I think this year has probably been Mo Bamba's most impressive year. And I think he can play with Porzingis. I also think he can stretch the floor a tad bit. He's not a certified stretch floor, but he's respectable out there and can knock down a few to open up the floor more for Luka. And then on the flip side, the Magic get another first-round pick, which is what they should have their eyes on around this time at the trade deadline, whether it's Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, whether it's one of the young players like Mo Bamba or what. They should be trying to stockpile on picks because Coach Mosley has done a very good job with that young talent, developing them, giving them freedom, confidence. We see how much Cole Anthony has grown this year. Franz Wagner has been one of the highlight rookies of this year. And with all of the uncertainty or unknown information surrounding Markelle and Jonathan Isaac, they need to start looking to expand on that core and building with who's there right now. Wendell has been impressive. And even Mo Bamba, like I mentioned, has had some moments. You got Chumo, Kiki. There's a lot of talent there. RJ Hampton. So you got to start solidifying what you have because Markelle, Jonathan Isaac, we have no idea what's going on. And these new guys are coming in and pushing the Magic in a different direction. We were looking at them as a super long defensive team with Bamba, Isaac, but now Cole Anthony and Franz Wagner kind of got them in some scoring up-tempo shit. So we'll see. But I truly think that the Magic should be trying to get these type of trades where you get a guy like Mo Bamba who you're not too high on, and it doesn't hurt you if you trade because, like I said, you have Wendell Carter still there, but you can get another first-round pick to potentially add to it. And it's top 10 protected. The Mavericks will not have a top 10 pick this year. They'll probably be in the playoffs, so it's a win-win for both sides. I give this trade Reese a B-. My next trades come from SC Panther. He has a few. He has Caris LeVert from the Pacers going to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Pacers receive Ricky Rubio, a late first-round pick, and 2 seconds. I like this trade because I think everybody in the NBA world wants to see Caris LeVert go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, especially since the Colin Sexton injury. It just makes all the sense to give them somebody who can create his own shot and be aggressive offensively on a perimeter. Darius Garland does a bit of that, but he also runs the offense. The front court has been super good with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And then also you have Lauri Markkanen as your 3. Even Kevin Love off that bench. Lamar Stevens off that bench. And this would put Isaac Okoro on the bench and not have him be out there kind of hurting the offense because his offensive game hasn't caught up just yet. And I think Caris LeVert is a nice piece to put right there in the backcourt with Darius Garland. I almost said Colin Sexton. The only thing about that is I just don't understand what the Pacers want. And I think that's going to be something we run into a lot in this video, which is going to make it hard for me to grade some of y'all trades. So if I grade it too low, don't feel no type of ways. It's probably not you. It's just the fact that I don't know if the Pacers are buying, selling, both. Even if they're buying, what are they looking for? Like, we have no idea exactly what the Pacers want at all. So I don't know if a late first, because the Cavaliers will probably be a playoff team. It'll be a late first. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if they want picks. I don't know if they want a player in return. I just don't know exactly. But I'm gonna give this a C plus. And the only reason I'm giving it a C plus is because I just don't exactly know what the Pacers want. But I do love the fact that LeVert goes to the Cavaliers. The next trade, he has Miles Turner, again, the Pacers. If I had to vote for who was mentioned the most in these trades in my replies on Twitter, the Pacers are the number one team by far. But the Grizzlies get Miles Turner, and the Pacers get Steven Adams in either a first or 2 seconds. I'll let you know right now, they would probably want the first more than the 2 seconds. The reason I don't like this trade, though, SC Panther, is because I feel like Steven Adams has been good enough to get the job done. They've been rolling. I'm a believer in the term, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was super hypercritical of the Grizzlies when they made the trade in the offseason, acquiring Steven Adams and letting go Jonas Valanciunas, because I'm high on Jonas Valanciunas. I believe he's been one of the most underrated bigs in the league. I feel like he's shown it to everybody who was in question this year. But Steven Adams has made it work. And I don't believe that it's even worth trading for Miles Turner to potentially F that up when you've been rolling like this, if that makes sense. And I think Adams isn't the most sexy name on paper, and when you think of Miles Turner, you think about him potentially stretching the floor. But I think the inside presence that Steven Adams provide is much more of a luxury for them, because they already have a big like Jaren Jackson who doesn't necessarily clean the glass. And adding another in Miles Turner may ruin that. And I think Steven Adams has done a good enough job for them in the paint, on the glass, and just being that they need, because it's still Memphis. It's a modern grit and grind basketball. Trading him and getting Miles Turner kind of goes against that. So I'm gonna get that one a D plus, just because I feel like the Grizzlies don't need Miles Turner. They really don't. He also has a trade that he put unlikely, and he says Ben Simmons to the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown to the Sixers, Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey to Sacramento, and then Fox to the Sixers, De'Aaron Fox. So the Sixers would be getting Jaylen Brown and De'Aaron Fox. The Celtics get Ben Simmons, and then Sacramento gets Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. I'm going to get this one an F, just because there's no way in hell that Sacramento walks with all of these big names around, Jaylen Brown, Ben Simmons, De'Aaron Fox, those names, and all you get is Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. I'm gonna say no. Sacramento says absolutely no. You can get more for Fox than Tobias Harris and Maxey. I don't want $40 million of Tobias Harris if I'm giving up De'Aaron Fox. Not that De'Aaron Fox is some superstar or has been playing out of his mind, but I think he's better than me bringing on Tobias Harris $40 million. And then last but not least, again, the Pacers. He has Miles Turner and Jeremy Lamb going to the Mavs for Tim Hardaway and Maxi Kleber. If I'm the Mavs, I do this in a heartbeat. Tim Hardaway Jr. just signed that big contract last offseason, hasn't really shown me anything close to production to match that money we gave him. And that may have been a bad signing. We will see. It's early, so I'll let Tim Hardaway Jr., prove me wrong. But that contract is off to a bad start. And Miles Turner with the Mavericks will be extremely nice. I bet Reese is watching this and liking that one. So I like that one. I'll give that one a C plus. SC Panther. I'll give that one a C plus. My boy Dylan, he says something along the lines of Ben being traded for both Buddy and Fox. Add draft picks also. Ben gets his wish. 76ers get a primary ball handler and a sniper to surround Joel. And Kings get a potential up-and-coming star in Ben to pair with Halliburton, win-win. I do like the pairing of Halliburton and Ben Simmons. I won't lie at all with that one. But my thing about Fox going to the Sixers, because I'm seeing this a lot. I saw it in the replies a lot. I'm seeing it on NBA Twitter. I'm seeing it on NBA blogs or websites about trade rumors and, mock trades or whatever. And De'Aaron Fox to the 76ers have been something that's been thrown around a lot. De'Aaron Fox isn't a bad player. It's just that what the Sixers need is not De'Aaron Fox, because De'Aaron Fox has some of the same disadvantages that Ben has. Ben just doesn't shoot at all, but De'Aaron Fox isn't a good shooter either, and his most valuable trait or best position to be in is to have the ball in his hands. I think Philly needs somebody who can play off the ball, unless when that person is on the ball, they're elite. You know, like James Harden, Kyrie Irving, when they have the ball in their hands, they're elite scorers, and James Harden is an elite scorer and playmaker, and that pick and roll with him and Embiid would be crazy. But De'Aaron Fox is an elite with the ball in his hands. He's solid, and then he can't play off the ball whatsoever. That's probably his biggest weakness, is when he doesn't have the ball, he's not that much effective, like Ben Simmons a little bit. And at least Ben Simmons can post, but that just creates this conflict with him and Embiid, because you can't have both of them posting at the same time. So it's kind of like, at least when Ben Simmons, at least he was a defensive player of the year, and a playmaker who has some size, and when Joel went out, he can post. But it's like with Fox is going to be solid with the ball, he'll have his nights, but like in the playoffs when it slows down, I would just double team Embiid and allow Fox to shoot the same way I would do with Ben Simmons. And again, because of Ben Simmons' size, you were able to make it work a little bit more better. I don't think that would be the case with De'Aaron Fox. So I'm not sure if De'Aaron Fox is necessarily the answer, as many others may think. I think I would much rather, if I was the Sixers, get Tyrese Halliburton, because he's as good with the ball and off the ball. He can do whatever one equally as good, and I think that's what the Sixers need. More guys who are able to play without the ball and are less likely to get Joel Embiid doubled, which is inevitable. But when he is doubled, guys that will make other teams pay. And I think that ain't De'Aaron Fox or Ben Simmons. So if you're trading Ben, why bring in De'Aaron? So I'm gonna get that one a C minus. Brian, my boy Brian Guzman, he says plus a first and some seconds, and he has Miles Turner going to the Hornets. And he has the Pacers receiving Kelly Oubre and P.J. Washington and a first and some seconds, like he said. I like Miles Turner with the Hornets. I think everybody does. But again, this falls on the Pacers. Do the Pacers want P.J. Washington? Do they want, I guess Kelly Oubre is in here to make money match. But do the Pacers really look at P.J. Washington and say, that's what I want? Maybe this trade would be better if this had Book Knight or Kai Jones, one of the first round picks from the Hornets last draft. But again, it's hard for me to grade, because do the Pacers want younger talent? Do they want picks? Do they want? I just don't know what they want. I'm gonna give this one a C+2. I like Miles Turner with the Hornets, but again, I just don't understand what direction at all are the Pacers going in. My boy Tamatsus Tubis says Pistons receive Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, Zaire Williams, and a first-round pick, and the Grizzlies receive Jeremy Grant. I would like to see Jeremy Grant on the Grizzlies if there was a way that this could be lesser for them to give up. I feel like Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, Zaire Williams, and a first-round pick is quite a lot for Jeremy Grant, who at that point isn't really moving your needle anywhere crazy. You know what I mean? Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark are big rotational players for the Grizzlies who like their depth. They utilize their depth a lot, and they like to have options. And Zaire Williams, as of late, has been looking like a rotational player, and they've been getting him involved and developing him right before our eyes in the midst of this incredible run they've been on. And then a first-round pick. Like, I would just rather keep this. This is a whole lot. This is a whole lot for Jeremy Grant, who, again, is a good player, but he's not moving Memphis at all. And then my guy put at the bottom his explanation. He says the Pistons get a first-round pick plus a young talent that they can develop in Zaire, while the Grizzlies get a versatile wing that can create a bit and defend. I agree on all those things with Jeremy Grant, but again, I just don't think he puts them over the top. So at that point, it just doesn't become worth it. Now, if you were telling me they were doing, Dylan Brooks and some type of Xavier Tillman or something, I'll be like, okay. But yeah, this becomes Ja, Desmond Bain, Jeremy Grant, Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams, and then you have Dylan Brooks, DeAnthony Melton, Conchar, Xavier Tillman. I don't know. I would much rather keep 3 rotational players and a first round pick. That's a lot to give up for a guy who's not an all-star, personally. My boy Robert puts something like this. There would probably be more picks and players, but Boston gets their PG, Philly gets rid of Ben, Sacramento can use Ben much better, and he will be closer to the player he was supposed to be. This has the Boston Celtics getting De'Aaron Fox, the Sacramento Kings getting Ben Simmons, and then Philadelphia getting Jaylen Brown. I think this is a loss for the Celtics. I really do. I'm not a person who believes that Jaylen Brown needs to be traded right now, especially if it's for De'Aaron Fox. I would try to make Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown work as a duo as long as I could for how long as I could. De'Aaron Fox is the lesser player out of all three of these guys, in my opinion. I think Ben Simmons has been a perennial all-star when he's played, defensive player of the year. Yes, he has his flaws, but shit, De'Aaron Fox has his flaws as well. And again, I just don't think he changes anything in Boston. I think they're the same at best or even worse. So at that point, I would much rather keep Jaylen Brown. Philly, though, with Jaylen Brown, you put him with Embiid and you have him as a perimeter closer. Joel Embiid is a dominant big. That could be sexy. But yeah, I just, if I'm Boston, I don't do this trade. I get the least player in the entire trade, so I would probably just keep Brown and let him and Tatum rock out for as long as they could. Z has Jeremy Grant, Killian Hayes, and a future first to the 76ers for Ben Simmons. Jeremy Grant again just doesn't move the needle that much for if the Sixers were ever going to settle for this low of a trade, they should have traded Ben Simmons 5 months ago. Like literally, how do you go from James Harden to C.J. McCollum, Damian Lillard to Jeremy Grant, Killian Hayes, who isn't better than fucking Tyrese Maxey right now, at a future? And if I'm Detroit, I don't want to give up a first. I want to keep all my firsts. I don't want to even give up, not even for Ben Simmons. I would just much rather keep all my firsts. We suck right now. I want to get as many of my first round picks as I can, as long as we're being garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna say no to that one, Z. That one's like a D minus. Robert, who's did the De'Aaron Fox trade, I'm gonna give you like a D plus. And then Tymatsis with the Kyle Anderson. I don't think I graded yours. I give you about a C minus. We got to be better with some of these trades, man. Augusto, he says the Thunder give up Vernon Carey Jr. and JT Thor, or they get those guys, and then they trade the Hornets Mike Muscala. So the Thunder get Vernon Carey Jr. and JT Thor, and the Hornets get Mike Muscala. I like Mike Muscala. I think a lot of teams should be looking at him for the stretch big that he provides. But I think the Thunder know how valuable he is, and I think you can get much more for Mike Muscala. I'm not trying to talk about him like he's an all-star and you're going to get picks or anything crazy, but I think you can get much more than Vernon Carey Jr. and JT Thor for Mike Muscala. Mohammed, I like this one. Mohammed has, so I'm going to grade that one, Augusto, a D+. I'm going to give it a D+. The Thunder fans may be in the comments like, what is Augusto thinking? Mohammed has the Rockets receiving Malik Beasley and Taurean Prince, and the Timberwolves receiving Eric Gordon and Daniel Tice. I kind of like this. Malik Beasley and Eric Gordon are both on three-year deals. But I think Eric Gordon may be more consistent. I don't know. Malik Beasley, he's all over the place. He does shoot a lot of threes, though. Taurean Prince is an expiring deal for the Rockets to get off of. And then you got Daniel Tice, who can play with Towns, can back up Towns. He can play with Naz Reid. It gives them more size and more depth. This is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one, especially for the Timberwolves. I wonder how they would feel about this. I know the Rockets would get on this quickly. But also, would they? Malik Beasley, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Joshua Christopher, a lot of chucking going on. A lot of chucking up shots, especially with Malik Beasley being younger than Gordon. So I don't know, but I would say this is a C+. I'm going to say C+, just because I kind of like the Timberwolves getting a little bit more older and mature players back for a playoff run. That's an interesting one. Mohammed again. I got Mohammed twice. He has the Celtics receiving Reggie Bullock, Trey Burke, and Jalen Brunson, and the Mavericks receiving Marcus Smart, a 2021 first-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick. I bet all my Maverick people hate this one. They probably don't like this one. They would probably much rather keep Jalen Brunson. My Celtic people, I know y'all want Jalen Brunson bad. I would love to see Jalen Brunson with the Celtics. Jalen Brunson, Tatum, and Brown. I would love to see that one personally. I would love to see that one. I'm gonna grade that one. I'm gonna grade this one a B. I'm gonna grade this one a B, just because I want to see Jalen Brunson with the Celtics. I don't like Marcus Smart with the Mavericks, so you might as well just keep Brunson. Bez, my boy Bez, he said, we've been talking about this way too long. Maybe the pick is too much. Let me know. Again, the Miles Turner going to the Hornets, and the Pacers receiving Mason Plumlee, PJ Washington, Vernon Carey, and a 2023 first-round pick. The pick wouldn't be too much. You would have to throw in the pick because, again, I don't even know if the Pacers want any of those players, if I'm being honest. I have no idea if those players... You're better off with the earlier one with Kelly Oubre. At least Kelly Oubre is serviceable. I don't think the Pacers... What are they doing on Mason Plumlee if they have Sabonis? Same with PJ Washington and Vernon Carey. Like, you're better off giving up maybe Oubre, and like I said, one of those picks that they had from last year, Book Knight, Kai Jones, and yeah, you would definitely probably have to give up a first round pick. But it would be worth it for Miles Turner if you're the Hornets. It would be worth it, in my opinion. I'm gonna give this one a B as well, a B minus. I'm gonna give this a C minus because I forgot I had to make some changes to your trade. So C minus, Bez. DeAndre Flanagan. He has the Pistons getting Ricky Rubio, Kevin Pangos, and a 2023 first-round pick. I'm not mad at it. Stock up on your picks, Detroit. And the Cavaliers getting Jeremy Grant. This makes them an extremely big team because Larry Markkinen is already their small forward, Evan Mobley power forward, Jared Allen center. So what do you got? Jeremy Grant playing shooting guard with a 6'9" team around Darius Garland. I'm going to give this one a D plus, DeAndre. The Cavaliers need a guy who can put the ball in a hoop like Karis LeVert, which we talked about earlier. Cam Reddish would have been a good low-cost, low-risk, high-reward type of trade. Not sure if Jeremy Grant is it, and I think if I'm the Pistons, I can probably get more for Jeremy Grant than Ricky Rubio and Kevin Pangos, personally. So I'm going to give this one, a D? I'm going to give it a D+. Shea Media has Kenrich Williams going to the Suns. And they have the Thunder getting Jalen Smith and a 2024 second-round pick. You're smart. I know why you would want Jalen Smith. He's been playing good with the Suns. But again, because of that and because of all of the wings that the Suns already have, I don't know if giving up Jalen Smith for Kenrich Williams is worth it. So therefore, I have to give this a D-. But I do like the fact that you know about Jalen Smith. He would be very sexy with the Thunder. He would be like a better Mike Muscala. Last but not least, we got my guy Introvert. This is probably my favorite trade. That's why I saved it for last. This is a big one, y'all. So listen close. The Philadelphia 76ers get CJ McCollum, De'Aaron Fox, and Justin Holiday. The Portland Trail Blazers get Ben Simmons, Harrison Barnes, and Miles Turner. The Sacramento Kings get Tobias Harris, Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, and Yusuf Nurkic. And then the Indiana Pacers get Buddy Hield, Robert Covington, Anthony Simons, and Tyrese Maxey. This is a fucking A. This is an A+, man. This is an A+. Just because I like it. It's like a 2K trade, but I kind of like it. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of De'Aaron Fox going to the 76ers, but shit, with CJ McCollum and Justin Holiday, I kind of like it. I'm sure they would get some type of pick because Philly just wants the kitchen sink for Ben. Portland, they get Simmons, Barnes, and Turner. So you would have Dame, Norman Powell, Harrison Barnes, Ben Simmons, and Miles Turner. It's kind of decent. You still got Nasir Little. Still got Larry Nance Jr. Sacramento, they're the shaky one. Because they're the ones giving up Buddy Hield. They're giving up Barnes and Fox. And they're getting Tobias Harris. That contract is there. You get Karis LeVert, TJ Warren. This ain't that bad. I would like, Halliburton and Karis LeVert backcourt, solid. Tobias Harris and Nurkic frontcourt, side. You know what I mean? And you have TJ Warren when he's back healthy. Davion Mitchell is still on that team. And you would just have to hope that they get a couple picks. They would be the team that has to get the most picks because I think they're getting the less out of every team. And then the Pacers get Buddy Hield, Covington, Simons, and Tyrese Maxey. You still have Brogdon. You still have Sabonis. And now you're adding Simons, Tyrese Maxey, Covington, Hield. Chris Duarte is still on that team. Interesting. But this is my favorite one, man. This is my favorite one. It's a lot going on, but I really think this is a good 2K-ish trade. If this happened in real life, this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11. This is 15 players involved. A 15-player trade that big would be crazy. Oh, no. My real last one comes from my boy Karam. I get that one an A+, introvert. My real last one, I forgot we have one more, comes from Karam. And he has the Pistons getting Derrick Jones Jr., Kobe White, and a second-round pick, and the Bulls getting Jeremy Grant. I get that one a A-. Bring Jeremy Grant to the Bulls. I want to see the Bulls get a 4 without having to give up Patrick Williams. Maybe the Pistons say, hey, we do want Patrick Williams. But even if they do have to get Patrick Williams, a 4 would be nice. Whether it's Jeremy Grant, Kyle Anderson, Jared Vanderbilt would be nice on the Bulls. I don't think the Timberwolves would give him up, but he would be nice on the Bulls. Let me know y'all grades for some of these trades. If some of y'all think y'all got some way better trades, because it took me a long time to give out some A's. We had a lot of complications. If you think you got better trades, hit me up on Twitter. Reply to this in the comments with y'all trades. And if I find enough good trades in the comments of this video, we'll do a part 2. We'll probably do another one closer to the deadline where more rumors and stuff becomes active. But as always, leave a like. Let me know y'all opinions and y'all thoughts. If you're new, press that subscribe button. As always, I appreciate y'all. I'm Pee Wee the Plug. This is NBA Weekly, and I am out. Peace.